Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Kim Frank. I use she, her pronouns. I've been attending Countryside Church since 1992. I have two children that both went through our RE program, Jason and Sarah. They are now grown adults who attend Countryside with the addition now of my son-in-law, Andy, and my grandson, River, who will most likely grow up through the RE program. I have also had the honor of witnessing many youth, some of them your children, grow up through the senior high youth group. Now that paragraph alone is enough to explain why I continue to support the work of this church. But of course, there is always more to our stories. I have two that I'd like to share with you that illustrate why Countryside is where I place my trust and pledge my support. In the church I was raised, there were many reminders of why we don't ask questions. It shows a weakness of faith. It's defiant. For my mom, it was downright embarrassing that her oldest daughter would pose questions to someone as important as a minister. To be fair, my pastor was willing to have conversations, but my mom felt I had no right to waste his time. When my son was born in March of 1984, I turned 17 that April. This was before MTV started making teenage pregnancy a reality TV show. It was certainly not a regular occurrence at Rolling Meadows High School. There were a few nice people that checked in on me from my congregation, but for the most part, I was the scandal of the week. When I found out that the new pastor was using my story as a cautionary tale to the girls in the senior high group that I had grown up with, I left the church. At Countryside, we surround our young people with acceptance, with love. We spend years in our RE program reinforcing their sense of self. We give them the message that different is wonderful, that asking questions is called curiosity and leads to better understanding, that asking questions is learning for both the questioner and the person contemplating the answer. In this congregation, we allow that knowledge comes from within just as often as it comes from external sources. I have never worried that my children would be judged and shamed here, or that I would be judged for anything that happened in my family. To quote Roger Eames, a longtime member when I first joined, "We don't do shame here." What this congregation did do was provide a home away from home for Sarah and Jason and I. The money I give to this church will never equal the ways that we have benefited from being members. I increased my pledge this year because of the years as a single mom that I was giving well below the minimum, and sometimes not even that. And nobody told me that wasn't enough. I've taken classes here on parenting with emotional intelligence, the teachings of Martin Buber, poetry, meditation, classes I could not have afforded to take anywhere else. I have received meals and visits from care ministry after surgeries, cards from lay ministry expressing both joy and concern at what was happening in my life, and community partnership in raising my children. With the senior high group, I have walked in the Chicago Pride Parade, met a state representative, rallied for peace at the state capitol in Springfield, pulled buckthorn in local forest preserves, and expanded my vocabulary in ways I'm not sure that I'm proud of, but it is expanded nonetheless. So I said I had two stories to share. I'll close with the second. Some of you are familiar with this one. In the summer of 2008, my son spent 2 weeks in the hospital in heart failure at the age of 24. I still have trouble saying that. It's safe to say it was the scariest thing that either of us had ever faced. But Reverend Hillary came to the hospital multiple times with cards and notes from our church family. When he was finally back on his feet, he couldn't wait to get to the place he had missed the most, this church. And Countryside did not disappoint. He was welcomed back into the sanctuary with a standing ovation, a thunderous clapping of love and joy. I listened to him share his harrowing story with person after person. He knew he had been missed. He knew his presence here mattered. This is why community, chosen community, is sacred to me. I can't put a price on that. So I hope you'll join me in pledging the financial support that works for you. And if that's different than what you would like it to be, that's okay. We're a community. We're in this together. And it will be enough.